So as a starting point, we need cholesterol. Cholesterol is a building block. And then depending what other hormones we have in the body, if we are in a good mood, if we are very stressed, if we slept well, you know, the communication of the 55 hormones decides what will happen in the body. And so, for example, if somebody would want to get pregnant, yeah, and they are in a good mood and everything, the life is perfect, then it goes to progesterone, and then it will create this, you know, pregnaniol, da 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 da. But then sometimes you can get stressed, and from this active progesterone, rather than going down, it goes to cortisol, the stress hormone. This is called cortisol steal, yeah? And sometimes from the pregnenolone, it goes to DHEA, which is a use hormone. And then instead of, let me just move it a little bit down, instead of, you know, making estradiol, so estradiol is the most potent estrogen in the body, right? So it will make testosterone, and then from testosterone, it will go to the 3 times more potent DHT, or it will decide to go to the estradiol. And on this picture, you can see, for example, aromatase. So aromatase is the enzyme that decides what's going to happen. And when it's like very potent and you have too much of it, and you can see it's not only here. So this aromatase and this CYP19, it's basically genetic code that we have. And it's either going to be very dominant, little dominant, present, not present, you know? And all of this has impact on everything in our body. So you can see that even here, if it goes this pathway, it will make estrone, which is like a strong estradiol, and then it will make metabolites out of it, yeah? So the variety of what can happen in the body is massive based on how we feel. And then when we look at the tests of,
the best.
yeah,
That's what I was going to ask you.
yeah, and so now we will, like, you know, put it in here. So when I connect it, right? So when you feel, okay, I'm like really stinky, you have lots of estradiol, this, or even estrone metabolites in the body. So what is metabolite? Everything in the body needs to be broken down and activated. So if I show you again this picture, so this is the liver. Did I open it somewhere else? Yeah. So this is the liver. And you know, even with the drugs, you need to know this even with drugs. When you take a drug, the drug on its own, made in the lab, it's not active. It needs to be activated by your body. Yeah, and it gets activated in phase 1. So you can see we have phase 1, and we have this cytochrome P40 enzyme. And enzyme, remember, enzyme always makes a product or turns A to B. So like, you know, oven, imagine oven is the enzyme. So you have flour, milk, eggs, and everything. You prepare the butter for the cake, but the cake happens only with the help of the oven when you bake it, because it's the heat and everything that happens in the oven, in the enzyme. So this is enzyme that makes it from a raw product that is inactive into something active. And this is happening in the liver. So in the liver, we have these liver enzymes, yeah? And somebody has more and somebody has less. And so for somebody will say, for example, me, I drink coffee. And if I drink coffee at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I can guarantee you that I will not sleep all night, because my body does not detoxify it and doesn't break it down as fast as somebody else. Then you might have a person that will drink a coffee and then go to sleep within 30 minutes. Why? Because their liver is so good at breaking it down to the metabolites and eliminating it from the body. Yeah? And this is happening, you know, in the liver. And there can be many, many, many varieties why this doesn't work. So these enzymes, this cytochrome P40, that's what the pharma is like testing it with, always the drug, needs B2, B3, B6, folic acid, glutathione, branched amino acids, da, 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 all of this to make it. So if you don't have that, you will not have the enzyme. If you don't have the enzyme, you cannot activate like the things in your body, yeah? Or on the other hand, you might have way too much of this enzyme, which is genetically coded. So the genetic code I showed you on this picture, the genetic code is CYP19. And only if you did a genetic tests, they would tell you, aha, this one is too high, too low, da, 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 da. And you would know, aha, this is why I cannot do that. So there would have to be like lots and lots of testing. But if I go back in here, so what happens is that even toxins, so they're showing you on how to detoxify in this picture. But toxins are even drugs. You know, everything is toxin. Too much of something, alcohol is a toxin, okay? Just to let you know, if you didn't know. You know, cigarettes are toxins. Unhealthy food, McDonald's, toxins. Everything is toxin. And the toxin comes in like, it's a non-polar. So it cannot really dissolve in the liquid, blood, urine, and so on. And so the liver turns it into something more soluble and activates it, yeah? And so this activating reaction, either it brings their oxide or something, then makes it more potent. So suddenly the drug starts to work. It can take, if you take painkillers, it will take probably like 20 minutes before it starts working for normal people. But for somebody, it can be 5 minutes because they have so many of the enzymes and it will be faster, yeah? And you also maybe know, you heard about it, that, for example, they tell you, if you take, you know, something for hypertension, some drug, don't mix it with grapefruit juice. Have you ever heard this? Yeah, that's some medication you cannot drink, you know, mix with grapefruit juice. Why? Because grapefruit juice actually can activate, make it faster, or for somebody, it can block it. Yeah, so it has impact. These antioxidants, it has impact on how it's going to work. And so what happens then? So now we have it like very reactive in the phase 1. And then we need phase 2, because it was too reactive, to make it less reactive. Yeah, so we activate it to use it, but then we need to deactivate it to eliminate it from the body. Yeah, so you use alcohol. Okay, it's going to make you within 20 minutes feel relaxed. But you don't stay relaxed for 4, 6, 7, 10 hours, right? Because the liver in the phase 2 recognized it's a toxin, it's a neurotoxin, it's having impact on your brain, and it's going to eliminate it, yeah? And so if your phase 2 is working well, you should not have hangover, you should not really feel drunk. Maybe it might not even have impact on you. You just get slightly tipsy and it's over, yeah? But sick people whose liver is not working, they will have massive hangover, they will not be able to, you know, flow, yeah? And so the same happens with hormones. So our body, our ovaries, the beautiful picture that we saw, creates way too much of something. And then the body knows it needs to eliminate it. And so we need all these amino acids, glycine, taurine, glutamine, cysteine, methionine, to use sulfation, glucuronidation, acetylation, methylation in the liver to eliminate it. But now I tell you the problem, right? So I was studying this lady the whole weekend, okay? The problem is that if somebody has, for example, slow phase 1 and very fast phase 2, is going to feel sick from what they eat, from supplements and all of that. And it can be, for example, with the methylation. So somebody might take methylated B12. You know, you might have B12 deficiency, so you will take methylated B12 because you need it for this methylation in the liver, so that the liver is working. But for some reason, your B1 is not working where you need the B12, and then you are not going to like absorb it. And so even if you take all the supplements, nothing changes. Yeah? And then with Annalyn, who takes taurine, magnesium taurate, and it makes her like hyperactive, maybe it was too much, because then you have too much of this and the liver is working in a faster way. Yeah, that one phase is faster than the other. And so what we always need to do when we detoxify, we need to support both of these. So either we do a genetic testing and see where it goes wrong, and you know, we know exactly which enzyme, or to be safe, we are balancing these two together. And now we will look again on analysis tests, yeah, Annalyn's tests, sorry. That is it, here. And so I love this urinary test. So remember, in the urine, we have waste product of the hormones that were used by the body, broken down by the liver and eliminated in the urine. So what's in the urine? Know that it was active. When we do the blood tests for the sex hormones, it's in the serum. Good. So we know that your ovaries or any organ can or cannot create it. But whether or not you were using it and whether you were able to detoxify, we don't know. And so the urinary test is better because it shows the waste product. Yeah. And remember, with the waste product, it also depends. Again, I will show you this picture in here because it shows it nice. This OH is the phase 1, how it gets broken. And what we want, if we have this enzyme, CYP1A1, this enzyme will make metabolites that are not carcinogenic and are not damaging, because even the waste products are damaging. And so OH2 is good. That's what we want, majority of it. OH4 is damaging DNA. Yes. So because these metabolites, they stick to something. And when it attaches to the DNA, it will damage the DNA, or it might damage the DNA. And the DNA, right, is in every cell. And you know that the cells are replicating. And when it replicates with the mistake, because the DNA was damaged, this is called mutation. And mutation might create cancer. Yeah. So we don't want too much of the 4OH. And so when we see that somebody has too much of the 4OH, we want to support the detoxification in that moment. Yeah. And then we have OH16, which is like highly estrogenic. We also don't really want it in the highest amount. Yeah. And so,
Blanca, can I interrupt you and ask a question? If someone's having a liver cancer and they're having part of the liver removed, is that probably what's happened? The 4-OHE has over mutated?
Yeah, so it's not only estrogen that makes it, but all the toxins, like any toxin or anything that was supposed to be eliminated can damage the liver cells. But, you know, liver cancer, you know, so very often, let's say, smokers, alcoholics that were loading themselves with toxins, because one puff, it's like 3,000 chemicals in one puff of the cigarette. If they smoke every single day, they damaged everything in their body, and then there's metastasis. But
if someone doesn't drink and smoke and they get that, it's more from the detoxification programming of the body, that the body's not detoxifying.
Yeah, but there must have been something. There must have been something that the liver was fighting. There could have been some bacteria, pathogen, something that they eat. There must have been something why the liver, because everything goes to the liver. Yeah. So when we eat through the stomach, it comes to the portal vein, and everything, ladies, goes through the liver every single day. Every blood, like every drop of blood, always is filtered through the liver. That's a filter. Yeah. And so whatever we do, what we are exposed to, it can be mold in the bathroom. Yeah. Mold in the bathroom that, you know, it's terrible because you inhale it and it goes into your bloodstream and it's damaging everything. Yeah. And so if I go like back to the test, so here we can see that aniline, so you can see generally OH2, generally considered safe. Yeah. So we would want, for example, for aniline to have more. When we break down the estrogen, we want that it's broken down into the safe one. Then she has slightly more of the potential for DNA damage. Yeah. And then she has a lot of considered highly estrogenic. But remember, estrogen is a builder. And so again, when we go, yeah, it's these estrogenic, very, very potent metabolites that the body doesn't know how to detoxify, because the liver says, well, I'm doing my best. And so then the skin will say, okay, I help you. And it starts to detoxify it like through the skin. Yeah. And so we want to support the liver. And what we are also looking at in here. So everything that is, let's say, in red, they say, hey, watch out, you need to detoxify in a better way. And then we are looking at estriol. So estriol and estron and estradiol. So estradiol is the And it's in green, so green is good, okay? Yellow, it's slightly higher than it should be. So again, if I show you like this picture, and this changes every month. So when we did the test, that was one phase. Today, it would be completely different, yeah? And so in your body, you see, estriol is a broken down product of estradiol. So you had so much of the estradiol that the body said, okay, let's break some down, yeah? And you can see that even then the estriol makes like OH16, the most powerful one. You see how it's broken down? And it's all these enzymes. So CYP3A4. And so I made some notes for me. Many notes, yeah? Because this was, ladies, Saturday and Sunday. Spent really 2 days trying to think how could we change the hormones, yeah? And I had many notes. I had it even here. So with these enzymes, yeah, so even for example, this aromatase. So when we know that it goes this pathway, to inhibit the activity of aromatase, yeah, so inhibit, stop. We want to stop this activity. So what helps? Flax seeds, linseeds, you know, as we always speak about it, the broken linseeds. And this is recommended to everybody. And that's why when you make pancakes, you put there 1 or 2 spoons, you put it into water, you put it everywhere. Annalyn, do you put linseeds every single day everywhere?
No, I will put it more.
Yeah.
I was eating a lot of it, but now I stopped. I need to put it back
Yeah.
into.
So, you know, if possible, yeah, it's one of the things that helps. Second thing, flavonoids. So flavonoids is all the like antioxidants, berries, and then it can be even supplemented. Nettle root. Do you know what is nettle tea?
Nettle
Yeah.
tea, I have it, yeah.
So that would be a really good one for you to drink a nettle tea.
Okay.
And then we have actually calcium, magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D. Yeah, because that helps. So this is like one of the strategies. Or it was also saying, for example, if you want to reduce the oxidation of this, you know, DNA damaging 4OH metabolites, which are like free radicals, you should eat turmeric. But I usually recommend this like as a curcumin turmeric as a supplement. And let me actually show you what could be, hopefully, like with Annalyn, I'm already worried about which supplements. But for example, magnesium malate would be the next one. This is for energy to try. Yes. So magnesium malate, but also here they have a really nice product for the liver cleanse complex. Yeah. And why is this good? It's really good for liver detoxification. And why? Because there is turmeric for detoxification, liver health, digestion, and cholesterol balance. Yeah. When we actually look at, yeah. So we have dermobidin, choline, artichoke, broccoli, L-taurine. The only thing with you and taurine, I'm like a little bit, you know, worried. Milk thistle is very good. Milk thistle is like against the constipation because it makes you go to the toilet and it clears and supports. It's hepatoprotective. And remember, you can buy these things also separately. So for example, with Annalyn, I would say you buy it separately and try each one of them, how you react. But if you in general have, like, for example, Liz, you would say, oh, I don't have problem with supplements, then this is a good combination because it has then turmeric, it has this TMG, which is 3-methylglycine. So again, when we look at this picture, you can see glycine, yeah, methionine. So when you have this product, 3-methylglycine, it's already prepared for the methylation. For those ones that cannot absorb anything, whose liver is not working in a proper way, whose homocysteine levels are high and need to decrease it, this is the product. Yeah. And then N-acetylcysteine and alpha-lipoic acid are powerful antioxidants. So for Annalyn, like if she is starting with the detox, I would say buy, turmeric. So I like, but let me show you in BioCare because they have really good curcumin. They have, yeah, curcumin turmeric. So I would, for example, start just with this for 1 or 2 months, just to support the detox. And then everything else like nettle, I would drink it in the tea, or vitamin D. What they also have, let's continue like with your tests. Like, where's your
So,
test?
like, I just want to ask, because before, some 20 years ago, I was recommended to take dandelion coffee, which to substitute for coffee. It was
Yeah.
like a powder.
Yeah.
It's not half bad, but it was also linked to liver detoxification.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it similar
so
to nettle or it's not?
so it's similar, but it makes more because it's bitter, and everything that is bitter supports more of the liver enzymes because liver loves bitter. And so, for example, for digestion, it's better for digestion for somebody who is like bloated, constipated, digestive issues, because the liver is going to increase the bile. And if we look at this picture, so we have a phase 3, which is the bile, and the bile is made in the liver. People who don't have bile, they actually cannot excrete in the feces, serum, kidney, and urine the metabolites. So even if they break it down and activate it, imagine the mess. You activate it in the body. You act like crazy because it stays in the body, because the phase 3, when it should be water soluble and you should excrete it, you are just not doing it. Somebody who is constipated and goes to the toilet every 3 to 5 days, imagine how much mess they're holding in. And what happens is that it's waiting, for example, in the stool, but then it reabsorbs and it goes once more to the liver. So the liver has to work on it. That's why we need to go to the toilet every single day, preferably twice, but at least once. Or when you go in the morning, for example, I go every morning, but actually 3 times. So it just comes in the waves and I completely clear my intestine in the morning. It would be very, very rare for me to go also in the evening, that I would have to overeat or something, yeah? But I know that I eliminate everything in 3 sittings, yeah? But, if you go only 2 or 3 times a week and you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and all of that is in you, and everything that you ate or did has been activated by the liver and now it's sitting or circulating somewhere there, that's really, really bad, yeah?
Yeah, still.
And, when we do stool tests, we also often see there if you like absorb things or not. So again, on an example of Annalyn, I can show you, if you would want, like we can repeat once more how was her stool test, yeah? But we come back now to her urinary test. So overall, you can see that there wasn't anything major, yeah? So we are looking, for example, how much of this is the dehydroxytestosterone. That's like a masculine 3 times more potent than testosterone. So she has very low testosterone, surprisingly, but she had in green the active testosterone, because sometimes we could look at, oh, she doesn't have any testosterone, she will have low libido, she will not have any energy, she will have like low mood, she will have like, low self-esteem. This is what happens when you have low testosterone. But then in this test, we could see that no problem, because, from the testosterone, it gets turned to the DHT. So she has enough optimal level of the androgen. Yeah. So I don't worry in that case, about the level of the testosterone so much. And then she has DHT.
And all of this you found out from a urine test?
Yeah, from the urine test.
Wow.
So she's now like super smart because of her urine test. And she had to do it twice, right? Was twice?
Yes, I had to do it twice.
Yeah. Because do you know what happened? She shipped it, and there was like some problem with the DHL, the delivery, and they did not accept it, and she had to do all this once more. Yeah. And I was, ladies, yesterday doing a salivary test, which is like active hormone. So this is the same panel in here, but in saliva. That was, I tell you, don't do saliva. You need to give them 3 milliliters. And I had to, you know,
Oh no.
it's kind of like you don't have so and you have to do it at 2 o'clock in the night. Yeah. 2 o'clock in the night, spitting into, and I was like, urine is easier. Definitely. Yeah. So blood, I did 2 weeks ago, I did blood. Now I do saliva, and in 1 month I will do urine again. And then, you know, like you compare it to what's happening. It's always good to do it like multiple times. So overall, now let's look at the detoxification process that's happening in Annaline's body. Yeah. So we look at stage 1. So estrogen 1, E1, is the estradiol, the most potent. For example, if she wants to get pregnant, this is the one that she needs. If she did not have enough estradiol, you know, that would be, let's say, a problem, just in case she would ever want to get pregnant. Yeah, let's say like that. So E1 and E2. So how can she work? And we can see that the phase 1 for this the 2OH, the one that we want, is not as good as here. So everything that's green, it says, hey, when we have estrogen, we can very easily in phase 1 turn it into 4OH4. But that's the DNA damaging, right? So it's kind of like green, we can do it. And then we need another, this is enzyme, it's called COMT. And again, with genetic predisposition, sometimes you don't have it. But we can see that her phase 2 actually works well. So she has this COMT, and then even something that wasn't working well suddenly is cleared well because it's green. And even here, it's green. So actually her methylation activity, the process of how to, the phase 1, phase 2 is good. Yeah, it works. And then we were also looking, for example, at her cortisol. So we saw that she must be kind of like tired because she doesn't have enough cortisol. And here it's good to support it with rhodiola rosea, for example. Yeah, you can see that the full line is cortisol and cortisone is inactive. So cortisone is a storage. So cortisone also she had like in blue and then she went to green. But let's say the cortisol, the stress hormone that should keep her energized and, you know, metabolism and, you know, keep her going, that was very low. Yeah. And then we were looking at like other enzymes. But, you know, the report, so that I tell you, it's 18 pages. So then we are looking into it in really what happened at the bedtime, how many levels she had, and the cortisol was low. So Annalyn, actually, next week we can speak about like cortisol because this is a great example of the test. Yeah, so this is a very, very, very good test, and it even like explains low cortisol levels may be due to a low production or excessive metabolism of this enzyme as seen in obesity. So obviously, when we have like, you know, it's very difficult to lose weight, but Annalyn lost weight perfectly. I mean, like this was at the start. Surely she doesn't have these levels anymore. And if we were to retest it, we would see that everything is like perfect. So maybe her cortisol levels are now much better, and even the estrogen is better. Shall we look at the stool tests?
Yeah, we can look.
Once more, yeah. So she did also stool test. Because sometimes we will see it. Yeah, so she had almost perfect, you know, we have like different species, different families of microbiota. And we never want that one dominates and the other one is suppressed. And so she had it quite well balanced. It should be this hexagon, yeah? So that was good. She didn't have dysbiosis. She had pretty good diversity, but she had Klebsiella, which was like one bacteria that was overgrowing, yeah? But then we saw, we looked at the bacteria, but what I want to now more look at the fat and metabolism, yeah? So I just want to like double check it. She didn't have any parasites, which was very good. She had the probiotic yeast, and we did like the cure for it, and we can like do it once more. That's not a problem. And I want to show you what's quite good, like the part that I like. So here were the pathogens. So yeah, the Klebsiella was overgrowing, and that's why we wanted to target it. and they told us the colloid silver should be helped. Yeah, but for me, it was important to see, is she digesting food? And this elastase, pancreatic elastase, so pancreas is the organ in here, yeah, that is connected with the liver, and they work like together. And then we want to see, can she digest food? And she can. Was there like fat stains? Because if the fat was high in the stool, it means that she's not digesting it well, but it was good. Is she able to break down carbohydrates, sugar? Yes, that was no problem. Does she have any inflammation? Lactoferrin, lysozyme, calprotectin? No. So she didn't really have inflammation. How is her immune system in the gut working? This is the secretory immunoglobulin A. That was in green. That was perfect. Is she creating like energy? Does she have enough short chain fatty acids? So the total amount was on a lower end, but now because she's for months and months eating so well and she changed so much, surely she even this like improved. And then we were looking, does she have a risk of breast cancer? It's because of this beta glucuronidase? No, because it's in green. If it was like a very, very, very high, this beta glucuronidase, what it makes is that it sends metabolites from the estrogen that are prepared to be excreted in the feces. It sends it once more to the liver. Yeah, because if I show you like in the liver,
like if we can go back there, so the lactose, I didn't remember that. So that I'm not like intolerant to lactose or anything. That's what it's saying basically.
This lactoferrin, yeah, it has nothing. I know it sounds like lactose. It just sounds, they're just trying to confuse us. But lactoferrin, it's, ferritin, ferritin is a storage of the iron in the bone marrow and the liver. Yeah. And lactoferrin, these are like markers of inflammation. And it's only called lacto because, we have it's called lactase dehydrogenase. Do you know when you exercise and you have like this burning sensation in the muscle? Yeah. So that's lactate. This is called lactate. Yes. And lactate is actually like energy, because when you run really fast, you cannot make, this is called cellular respiration. It's not aerobic, air, mid-air, with air, no, but it's anaerobic, without air. And without air in your lungs and in your body, you cannot create so much energy. So then the muscle or cells, we have like other cells even in the liver, these muscle cells start creating, other molecules using lactate. And so lactoferrin is high when you have inflammation in the body. The body is out of the normal state, but you don't have this inflammation. Yeah. So it's just a marker called lactoferrin, but nothing to do with lactose. And lysozyme, the same. Lyso means like lesion, like splitting, and zyme is enzyme. So this lysozyme is an enzyme that is splitting and breaking bacteria in the body. And when it's like very high, it tells you it's fighting some bacteria or pathogens in the body because it's trying to break them down. And then calprotectin, it's an inflammatory marker in the gut. Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, a massive inflammation in the gut, celiac disease, yeah, but not your case. Yeah, this is perfect. These are important for me. And then for immune system, secretory immunoglobulin A. So immunoglobulins, it's white blood cells. And this A is like vitamin A, and it's in a mucus. So we have mucus in the gut. And these ones are like sitting there and they're waiting. If there are like any bad parasites or bacteria, they will fight them. So if you have high levels of that, it's fighting like crazy some inflammation pathogens, yeah? And if it's very, very, very low, it's very depleted. The immune system is like very often from the blood. We also see that the immune system is not working and they cannot protect you. But you have like optimal levels, yeah?